Your name's not down, you're not coming in. Not tonight, not tonight.
We are Security Nation.
Your name's not down, you're not coming in.
Our expertise allows everyone to have a great time,
Your name's not down, you're not coming in.
so they can feel safe and enjoy the occasion to the max.
Not tonight, you're not on the list.
Hello, and yes, we are back. Nation Group Talks. We haven't done a podcast for a while, but this is not our typical podcast tonight. We're talking about something a little bit different, unlicensed boxing. And tonight with me, I have my good friend and guest, Danny. Say hello, Danny.
Hello, people.
So we're talking about Punch 13 today. We're going to talk about unlicensed boxing. Some of the feuds that are going on, especially with Joe Egan taking on Big John Fury, and him not really wanting to have any of it.
No, he don't want none of that.
He don't want none of that, does he?
All talk.
But yeah, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about your not so squeaky clean past.
For me. We're talking about someone else.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about a few things. So anyway, tell me about the next version of Punch 13. It's looking to be pretty exciting.
This one's going to be absolutely off the Richter scale. We've got the best fights ever, some really good fights. We've got the biggest after party we've ever done, and we've got some really cool guests. We've got Big Joe Egan, who's trying to get his fight with John Fury, and John has said he'll fight him in the cobbles, but he seems to change his mind. We've got Steve Collins, one of my heroes.
Steve Collins.
Yeah.
Did he fight Barry McGuigan?
Wrong weight, my son, wrong weight. Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank. Two more of my heroes, and Chris Eubank literally dismantled him. He ended Nigel Benn's career. I think it stopped him in the 7th.
Wow.
But I watched that fight again with my son the other day, and I didn't realise how easily he went through Ben and Eubank. But top fighter, the most successful professional boxer to come out of Ireland in modern times.
And he's coming to your Punch, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's a guest.
Okay, and I'm assuming.
And he's going to be raising a lot of money, helping to raise a lot of money for Man Gang, the charity.
Man Gang. Okay, so let's talk about Man Gang.
Yeah.
So Man Gang is an organisation to help men to be able to talk and speak. Talk about Man Gang. Tell me all about it.
Well, we all like to do our bit in any way we can for good causes, but I chose this charity in particular because so many people I know from my demographic are going through, men in particular, through hard times at the moment. My best friend sadly took his life, Big Jem, back in 2017 when I first went to prison.
I know Jem.
I got the horrible phone call from my girlfriend at the time to tell me that he'd hung himself, and that hit me really hard. I remember I dropped down to one knee. I was gutted. He was always the happiest guy out there. He had more friends than anyone I knew. So
the funny thing is, I knew Jem as well, and when Jem was,
I remember, yeah.
When I ever met Jem or I met people in Bournemouth, they all spoke. Everybody I knew him.
He was just he was loved by everyone. How could a guy so happy, so loved, go down that route?
Well, that's just it, though. You don't know, do you?
You don't know what's going on in people's heads. Yeah.
So, explain about Man Gang, because this is a really good thing.
Yeah, it is a really good thing. So what Man Gang do, they work with men who are going through hard times, who are struggling with their mental health. They give them enable them to talk to each other. They have groups, but if people need it, I think they find individual counsellors as well. And obviously things like that cost a lot of money, so we try to raise as much money as we can for them. But they also do a lot to raise suicide awareness and suicide prevention.
So, without simplifying it, it's a place where somebody will listen. Somebody's prepared to listen. That will say,
I was
it's
surprised
okay.
how many people from the boxing club. Bear in mind, you're talking about tough men, men with pride and whatnot. Who are happy to turn up at these meetings.
I think there's a stigmatism that big, powerful guys, people that normally can look after themselves, people physically don't have a problem.
Yeah, and then guys can struggle more because they might not want to talk, think it's going to make them look silly, so they can keep it all buried inside. And Jem was that kind of guy.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, I myself have seen the guys from Man Gang. I've met them. Great guys. I've met them at the weigh-ins and that. And it's out there. So, if and I do say this. Obviously, I supply a lot of security, a lot of doormen, all over the place. Hundreds. In fact, this year's probably our biggest, and we're close, massive. But when guys have a problem, and sometimes they don't feel that they can talk to anybody in particular, it's not as easy when they say, "Oh, you can talk to your wife," and the wife says, "Oh, you can talk to me." Sometimes it's not quite that easy.
She's normally the problem.
Yeah, it's normally the problem. But
well, look, we live in a very wealthy country, right? I think I'll slate it. The government should be putting things in place like individual counselling. If you've got a problem, you go to your GP. You should be able to go and say, "Okay, we'll align you with a counsellor, maybe a life coach," because people who have, if you're middle class and you've got access to money, then you can afford to go get yourself a life coach or a counsellor. And what these people do, they give you skills that help you to handle some of life's problems a bit easier. If you're from the lower classes, chances are you're struggling with money and you won't have people around you to teach you those life skills. So I think the lower demographics, our demographics would struggle more.
Remember that, man gang, for anyone who thinks that they could do with talking to somebody.
And if there's any businesses out there who are looking for a charity to back, then I urge you, give Man Gang a shout. They work really hard. They're proper people and they do a lot of good in the community.
Okay. So, yeah, we do enough for charity.
You do, mate.
We do enough.
No, everyone does that.
Let's talk about let's talk about Punch Punch. So we know there's going to be some good scraps going on there.
Good scraps on that one.
And this is, like you touched on earlier when we were talking, this is a show where people are going to war here. They're going to be bashing shit out of each other, let's face it. And
I'll be honest,
these aren't journeymen. These are people that are ready to go.
Yeah, I've been around boxing my whole life since I was about 14. And if you go to a pro boxing show, your average pro boxing show, even some of the bigger ones, right, they put on a lot of journeymen. And what a journeyman is, he's there to facilitate an up-and-coming star a win. He's not in there to win himself. Some of these guys have lost 40, 50 fights in a row. He knows he's turned up to lose. In fact, he doesn't even train to win. He trains to hold on and survive. This is true. And a lot of people don't know that. Everyone boxing knows that, right? And you get it in the white-collar shows as well, where they just put the fights together. They carry people. Someone's a good ticket seller. Right? I like to say I've got a lot of integrity. And my matchmaker, Steve's got a lot of integrity. And we wouldn't have that. Every fight we put on is a 50-50 fight, means it could go either way. So both people come to go to war. And that's why the level of entertainment is different to what people are used to. Because a lot of people who don't really know their boxing, they won't know the difference. They think, this is a bit boring. But it's because someone's carrying someone. Some of these journeymen could do a lot of damage if they wanted to. And they're in for a pay. The journeymen get paid more in pro boxing half the time than the up-and-coming stars. The journeyman might get $2,000 a fight or more. Yeah. And that's something that's fundamentally wrong with boxing.
I get that, and I believe I've seen it. I know I've seen it. So it does happen. But we got some really good bouts on it. You've put some really good bouts on this show.
So one of the best, we've got Jake Hunsey, who's a local, very well-known cruiserweight, tough as nails, can't box well. Sorry, mate, you can't. But,
sorry, Jake.
I couldn't teach you to throw a jab, but the guy can fight.
Yeah.
Right, he's got a cast iron jaw, and he's got a good engine in him. A really good. I don't know how, because he don't hardly ever train, but he can just go round after round, and he can fight. Now he's fighting, and funnily enough, another friend of mine from Southend in Essex.
Yep.
Mickey Bourne, and Mickey Bourne was like the Grim Reaper of the unlicensed boxing scene not so long ago,
Yeah.
And literally must have knocked out 30, 40 people in a row, just obliterating. Mo Carbo. So Mo Carbo's very well known on the scene around here. He's, I think he's had like 300 fights with his kickboxing and boxing fights. He was 2-time world champion kickboxer, and he'll fight every week for a payday. And he comes to win every time. He wins nearly all his fights. He's getting on a bit, but he's, you look at him, he's a specimen.
I remember Mo when he worked at the Rhino.
Oh yeah,
that's about 20 odd years ago.
He was quite a heavy-handed orm back there, if I remember
I remember the first time I ever saw somebody with an 8-pack and then a 10-pack, and then I
Yeah.
thought, fucking, and Mo
Oh,
lifted
yeah.
up his T-shirt.
Unbelievable.
And he must have had a 24-pack. I've never seen anyone with
This
that
guy
much
is in
rip.
such good condition.
And
yeah.
now he's got to be at least 107 now, isn't he? And
120.
Mo won't mind me
Yeah.
saying.
But he's still going.
So, Mo, if you see this, I love you, man.
And what the point is, he beat Jake. He put Jake over as well. Jake's never been put over before. He put Jake over.
Yeah.
Jake got back up and won the fight. And but Mo.
Yeah.
Mo fought this Mickey Bourne, and it didn't go too well. I think Mo got put down maybe 4 times by Mickey Bourne. That's how powerful Mickey is. He just hits.
And now this Mickey's due to fight.
Yeah.
Jake.
And bear in mind, Mo put Jake down. So but Jake's asked for the fight because Mickey's like a legend in the unlicensed scene.
So he wants to have
So he
it.
wants the fight. He wants that name on his,
Yeah, he wants to carve that niche into his bedpost.
Yeah.
That's fair
you know,
enough. And on
it could go very wrong for him. The guy punches different. That's all I'll say. I was actually a judge on that fight with Mo Carbo. And I thought, you know what I mean? He really is hard.
It's interesting when you say, I mean, I can bang with both hands. And I think to myself, you know I can bang, but when you say the words somebody punches different, that means there's a different level.
There's a different level.
You know, and yeah.
Break your jaw in 10 places.
I wouldn't want to be on the end of that.
Yeah,
so
he punches different. Very, very heavy.
Interesting enough. But we've got Big Joe Egan, who's a friend of ours.
Yep.
Big Joe, he's going to be there. And for those of you that don't know Joe, one of the nicest blokes you could meet. Genuinely will talk to you. And something not many people know, Joe's a vegetarian.
No, it's not.
He is. He's vegetarian.
No,
I
what was
took
that
him for a
about?
meal, and Joe, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
You're on about chill.
No, Joe's a vegetarian. I didn't know that. He's the biggest vegetarian I've ever seen. The man's a fucking beast.
He must have been a vegetarian.
Honestly, he's
that
like a bear.
I was having dinner with him the other day. I don't remember him.
I swear.
I didn't pay much
he's-
attention to what he was
I'm
eating.
sure
We
he's
had a meze.
vegetarian.
When the Greek place had a meze, you couldn't be.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't have a meze and have a...
Joe, that's something we'll have to say.
You was with us the last time, weren't you? You want to go back there
I'm
again?
pretty certain Joe is vegetarian. I'm fucking sure he is.
I reckon you got your facts wrong.
No, we'll have
We'll ask him.
20 quid on it.
I'll have a quid on it if you like.
Talking of bets,
Yeah.
I know of a bet that I'm going to have a bit of this on you. I know of a bet you've taken on. Somebody, a mate of mine, has said, "Yeah, I'm taking this bet. You're going to lose." You reckon? Or I'm not sure how we're going to test this.
Or is there a lie detector?
You're going a month without sex. Is that right?
That's 2 months.
Fuck off!
2 months.
You couldn't go 2 days. So I'll take that bet. How much has he put in for it?
2 grand.
I'll have 2 grand with you.
Take it. That's right.
You're going to
I'll
take
be
2
4
grand
grand that
bet.
one or
You ain't going to be 2 months or 1 month.
2 months.
I'll take 1 month. You're failing. You are failing. Honestly,
What do I say?
that's as good as me saying I'm fat. That's happening, right? So I'll do that. But no, getting back. That's such easy money for you guys that have seen this bit. I've just bet him 2 grand that he can't keep his dick in his pants, and I'm telling you that is coming my way. And who's the other? Atul. He's got the other. So
Yeah,
me and
he's got the
Atul.
other.
Well, you might as well.
When's it start? We're starting today then.
Well, we're starting
We can't
today.
start
but
from
me and
yesterday.
Atul, listen, Atul, we're 2 grand
So
better
we're
off
starting
each.
today.
You know, that's yeah, that would be. I reckon. I'll be honest. If I was really being picky, we're starting now. I reckon you'll fail by tomorrow morning. That's the truth of it.
No way.
But no, we'll get back to it. But getting back to the show. So Punch, we're looking forward to what's going on. We've got some brilliant fights lined up. What other stuff do you think that people should come expecting to see on the show?
So you've got some great fights. The fight we just talked about with
Jake.
Mickey Bourne and
Yeah.
Jake, that's going to be savage.
Yeah.
Because
I know you did try and get Slav on.
yeah,
I know you've
what's
tried.
the Slav's?
I
Slav,
spoke to Slav as
the
well.
mad Russian.
Yeah.
He was supposed to fight a guy called Mark Dennis, who's out of Swindon. Mark Dennis has got the physique of like a black Greek Adonis or something. He just looks amazing. 6'3", shredded, very very powerful, and he's knocking out everyone in his wake. I think he's had 15 fights in the first year, which is prolific. Right, he's just knocking everyone out, and he's been beat a few times. He's beatable.
Yeah.
But he's learning his trade. That hasn't put him off. Actually, he's a very big hitter. I would say Slav's the more skillful of the two. He's very rangy. He's got a great skill set. He doesn't hit like Mark does. He hits hard, but nowhere near as hard.
I think obviously
It'd be a good
Slav's
fight.
trying
You know,
to
we try to put on real fights.
Yeah.
And from what I gather, Slav said, you know, he's not on my level because he says he's turned pro in Lithuania or something, right? As far as I'm
I
concerned,
believe he's got his pro license and stuff. That's what he said.
that's not a British
Obviously,
board
as
license,
you
pro
know,
license.
as you know, he works for me. So
I get that, but what I'm saying, this has been a real good fight for him, and it would raise his platform. For him to say he's not on the same, he said he's not on the same level. The guy's not on the same level. The guy's had 3 times more fights, you know, and he's knocking everyone out. I think had he not said that, if you're going to say something like that, you should back it up. It's a little bit naughty to Mark.
But
Mark's a nice guy. They're both nice guys.
It'll be great. Slav, if you ever change your mind, you know where it is. And
I'll put £1,000 down. That's a lot of money on the unlicensed scene.
you put $1,000 down.
I'll put £1,000 down. Winner takes all. And Mark's already said he'll have
Well,
that.
there you go. You've heard it there from the horse's mouth.
You know, there's
if you
a
guys do
big
get it on.
best knockout of the night trophy award as well. One of them might win that because I couldn't see that one going the distance.
No,
Mark,
fair enough.
Mark will be on. We're going to get him an opponent, but we're still hoping Slav takes the fight.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, you'd like to see that fight,
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
I mean, Slav, if you change your mind, mate, you know where we are. And I would like to see that fight. To be fair, I'd like to see it. Personally, I'd back Slav.
He'd get a lot of. I think Slav can win it. Slav's got a lot of skill.
I've seen Slav train. Let me tell you a story about this fucking lunatic Russian. So, I was asleep in my Winnebago one day at Kistery. I woke up in the morning, and I shit you not, my bedroom on my Winnebago's got to be about 6 foot, 7 foot in the air, quite high. And I saw a pair of feet with white socks go past my window. I thought, whatever the fuck is that? And I've looked out my window, and Slav is walking on his hands. What are you doing, you lunatic? And he was going, I wake myself up in the morning by walking 20 metres on my hands. He turns around and walks back, does a handstand. I goes, you're mad. And he was just walking past, and these
Slav is always in very good condition. He trains very hard.
Definitely not a full picnic.
I find him quite hard to coach myself because he's got his way of doing things.
Yeah.
But he's got a lot of technical ability.
He's a great lad.
He is a great lad.
He's Slav, we love you. Love to see you fight if it happens, all right? If you want to take it on, let me know.
I'm a promoter. I just want to get a good fight on, obviously.
Of course you do.
But £1,000 winner takes all if you want it.
There you go, Slav, you've heard that. It's up to you, mate. But I think you're great. I think you could do the fight as well and win. £1,000. Go halves with me on it. But yeah, so anyway, getting back to, the show and whatever. So we've got some great fights turning up.
We've got 2 pros.
Is there any... Oh, you've got
We've
two
got
pros
2
fight?
really good pros. We've got Henry Castle,
Yeah.
who won the ABAs back when you had to win, Ireland, Scotland, and Great England, right? So nowadays it's separate.
Okay.
So back then it meant more, and back then as well, you used to fight in totally different gloves. You could feel the knuckles through the gloves that used to boxing back then. Nowadays, the amateurs wear these big bubbles. They're horrible. They feel clumsy when you're throwing your shots. I remember when I was boxing amateur years and years ago, they still had those small gloves. And as a fighter, I personally think you want to fight in them. If you're a puncher, you want to fight in a glove you feel the knuckles through. I don't like those big bubble gloves. But he won it back then when it meant a lot more, right? And he went on to have about 25 pro fights for Frank Warren, Frank Maloney. I think the contract was sold to Maloney. And Panics Promotions, which Lennox Lewis used to own.
Yeah.
So he's worked with the best coaches around the country. And
Just what I think about it.
very powerful puncher. But he's fighting
Talking
another
of
guy.
powerful punchers,
Yeah.
your boy Ellis.
Fun enough, Henry's training Ellis.
So, I mean, we've seen your Ellis putt.
El-
What
Ellis
is it,
is-
15, 16? 15?
As we just said, Ellis hits different. I won't lie.
Yeah, but-
I hit fucking different and all. Pardon me.
He-
I can hit, but Ellis gets.
Well, do you know what? Do you know what I like? I don't really know your lad well. I've only met him a couple of times. Do you know what I like is that you and him, and I'm sure it's probably you that is what driving force behind it. But
He's got a good mum as well.
But
He
yeah,
does
no.
well.
But in as much as nothing, absolute.
I
All
think
the power
he
to the
gets
mum.
the genetics more
you
from
know.
her than me.
So well done, mum, for doing that. But the fact that you got your boy up at 6 in the morning, running up and down hills,
I get him
and
up at 5 in the
5 in the morning, doing the bits and pieces. Fair play.
Fair play to him more than me because
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of boys would say, "Dad, I'm not doing." If he said to me, "Dad, I'm not doing that," what can I say? but he wants to do it. If he didn't want to do it, I wouldn't ask him to do it. He's been told by Tom Watson, who's a 2-time world MMA champion, was a top boxer himself, but he could be a world champion.
I like that. I like that about what he does. I like that about what you do. Listen, I've known you for a long time. I met you in a really fucked up, random way, but I've known you for a long time. And for all your airs and graces and the things you've done, as a dad, I'm a dad, you're a dad, but I do see that, and I do see...
So no, it's nothing special. All we do,
No,
we all pass on whatever we can.
I do think that credit to you, but he is prepared to work. He is prepared to do the things that matter.
That's what I'm trying to say. If we didn't have proper people who said to him, Ellis, you can do this, you've got that talent, then we wouldn't be putting that much into it. Because boxing, if you're not that good at it, you got to wonder if it's worth doing.
I think it's safe for me to say this, and I can look at the camera and say he is one to watch, 100%. If you're looking at a young and up-and-coming young lad, he is definitely one to watch. And I'm not saying it because you're my mate, because if he was shit, I'd have no problem in saying he's dog shit.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you now, he's impressive just by the sheer effort he puts in and the things he is doing, which do make a difference. So, Ellis, if you do get to see this, mate, well done. Keep doing what you're doing. Your dad's not a bad egg, and he knows what he's talking about.
He's just literally come back from the gym with Henry Castle and Chill. I've been training two pros, been sparring and getting him in the training. So he's around it.
The plan for him is eventually, I'm assuming, tell me if I'm wrong here, eventually get enough fights under his belt where he's comfortable enough, and when he gets enough, maybe go pro with that and see where he goes with it.
Well, that's the plan. That's what he should be doing.
That's the sort of...
You can never tell with kids because they can change their mind. Dad, I don't fancy it, I'm bored of us.
For sure.
If that doesn't happen, he's definitely got the skill set to go all the way.
Yeah, there you go. Little bit to listen to go with there. So let's just touch on you, because a lot of people know you. Some people don't like you. Some people like you. Some people got their tongue so far up your ass. I don't know if it's you or them talking. But the fact is, I've known you for long enough. But let's be honest. If ever there was a time where I could go, look, tell me, because let's be honest, you have been in jail. You have done a few things that probably aren't textbook. And probably some things you're not proud of. And then there's things that you can go, do you know what? I did what I did, I learnt my lesson, and here I am today, a better person because of it.
Well, I think on that, everyone's got their own value system. I've got my value system, which is based on the things, how I was brought up, the people I'm around, my demographic, and there are things I'm not proud of, and there are other things that people might not like that I've done that I don't feel bad about, because I said I've got my value system. As long as I'm living in line with my values, it is what it is.
That's fair enough. You went to jail. You were in jail for approximately...
Well, I got a 9 and I had to serve
Did
half.
9, so you did 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And in that time, there's got to be some positives that have come out of this.
Yeah, I don't have any regrets of going to jail, actually. I mean, obviously I do. I was away from the kids, right? But...
do you think, and I'm saying this for anyone who sees...
I've got an education job.
Do you think you came out of it as a better person?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I'm on that road. I said when I was a kid, I got kicked out of every school I ever went to. I had about 14 convictions for violence by the time I was 18. Some really bad ones as well. You'll know you was on the door back then. I was off key, and I didn't know no better because my dad was.
I remember something you did when I was there. I wasn't impressed, especially in the middle of the day. Say you gave somebody a lift who didn't want to get in the car.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. But, so going back to it, so, tell somebody, I mean, be honest.
Like I said, I didn't really know anything else. I was brought up, I would say, by a good dad, by a very good dad, who was raised, again, by a very rough man himself. And, you from a rough demographic, I guess what I was saying, violence was a norm. My dad would, I think, a couple of times took me at local estate, who wants to fight my boy, and if I didn't drink more eggs, I'd get one of them in the head, and he made me a tough boy, Right, you're going on a run 6 in the morning. If I didn't want it, immaterial. But you know, if I got whacked at school, he'd say whack him back, which I think, you know, is okay.
I'll be honest, I'm the same.
The same,
I mean,
right?
my son said to me the other day, and I expect my son to look after himself, and he said to me, as the teachers do, oh, we should talk about it, and we should resolve conflict with talking. And in my head, I'm thinking, hang on, if that kid's punched you in the face, I expect you to punch him back.
Well, do you know what?
I know that's...
I mean, I don't think we can
not
say
what
that now.
most people can hear.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not going to like that for me saying it. But
they probably would. A lot of people probably would. But the fact is, they're going to get in trouble for it, and you've got to live in a way that is sustainable. Because nowadays, you know, you whack someone in the face, and you can end up getting 3 years for it. I've met people in jail, whack people once, and end up doing life sentence. One guy got got life sentence. He whacked a guy twice. The guy died.
Yeah.
He didn't get 5. He got a full life sentence. He was the nicest guy you'd ever meet. I think the guy pinched his girlfriend's bum. So for 2 punches, it ruined his whole life.
For sure. And 1 punch can kill. I know that. I've seen that. As a doorman of 32 years now, I can categorically tell you I have dealt with 4 cases in my life where I have knelt down over somebody and held their head and they have died.
Really?
Where 100%, and I can tell you exactly where they were. One outside Leisure World on the taxi rank, one outside Brannigan's, guy was on the curb, another guy just outside of, it was along from Scholars actually, it wasn't even my venue, but it was an unlicensed doorman working. He hit the guy into the road, and I was the doorman that went over and said, what have you fucking done? And I remember I had my hands on the back of his head, holding his head. It's
just luck.
And my hands went into the back of his head like it was an eggshell.
Yeah. It's just bad luck. If someone lands wrong,
so
it's just.
I know it can
luck.
happen, and this is the worrying thing that it can happen to anybody. And I'm not going to start preaching to people, you know, about it because we know it happens. You don't need me to tell you.
But the sentences nowadays for any kind of violence are triple what they were. They're absolutely through the roof. They're not proportionate at all. And,
but I know you went to university from there as well, didn't you?
I did. Well, I said when I was a kid, no qualifications, kicked out of every school and all the rest of it, a lot of trouble. And when I went to jail, don't get me wrong, I was no fool when I went to jail. I had 5 limited companies. I was doing quite well, but I wasn't educated. So when I was in jail, I thought I'm not going to waste this time. I'm going to make it, I'm going to make it work for me. And I started me reading a few books, and then from there, I couldn't read a lot of the words. My missus at the time used to read the classics, so she sent a few in. If there's 17, 20 words on a page that you don't understand, you're not going to get that page.
Got you.
So she sent me in a dictionary, and I started underlining all the words and writing down the meanings, and all of a sudden all the pages start making sense.
I like that. I like the fact you've had to use a dictionary to understand certain words.
She sent me in like a thesaurus and a dictionary like that and a load of stationery, and I started educating myself because you couldn't just get straight into education. So by the time I got to university, they said, if you've not done an A-level in English, because your English is brilliant. But that was all self-taught in the cells. I could have been smoking spice in the cells, but like most people, I got obsessed with reading books and educating myself. And then at Bullingdon...
See, I don't think, for anybody who knows you, and anyone who looks at you, they're probably not going to have you down as somebody that reads...
I love a good book.
Books. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. There's no shame in saying that you read that. To
be honest, if I was looking for a partner, it'd be a prerequisite for me, someone who wants to bet themselves, and I like that. I don't have to read, but it's something I find attractive. Do you know what I mean?
Fair enough. That is what it is.
But off the back of that, I started doing courses. I think I did about 30 courses. I did a year of Open University, managed to jam my way into that, and then I used that. Pass from that to get me into Westminster University. So I was very lucky. And I got day release. When I got the DCAT, I managed to get day release to Westminster University, which was amazing.
Sounds right.
I was just sneak straight off to the gym down Marleybone. It was probably a bit naughty.
You can probably say that now, though, but I don't think that's the biggest crime in the world,
no.
going to the gym, do you?
No, not at all. We're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But it was good, yeah.
Well,
spent my day studying.
So, anyway, we'll get back a little bit onto... So, when is... Punch 13.
It's on the 8th of June. So not long at all.
What time is it all starting?
All kicks off about 4 o'clock till 9 o'clock. It's a great day.
There's a potential weigh-in. There'll be a potential for a little weigh-in.
So we've just had literally in the last few hours.
Hour, yeah.
Something come up. I think
Charlie has just mentioned something, and
Grumpy Monkey.
there is a possibility
Yeah.
that we could have some fireworks at Grumpy Monkey before. So the fighters will be coming in on the day, and I think if it can be done,
You can have a lot of fun at the weigh-in, definitely.
Nothing for not solid yet, but if it can be done, I think that might.
Yeah, we normally do the weigh-ins about 12 o'clock behind closed doors at the venue, which is Switch, which is the biggest nightclub in Southampton, and I think it's the last big nightclub in Southampton. Great venue.
It's the last nightclub generally. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got a couple of clubs in the town, but
Very sad to see them old venues shut down.
any venue, any clubs which are over 20 years of age, they don't exist anymore.
No, they don't. But it's a great venue. Like I got York Hall quite a lot to the boxing there, and the atmosphere at Switch is better. It's dark in there. They've got amazing lighting and sound technicians, and the atmosphere is just incredible.
It's good.
Yeah.
But, so, I think what we're going to do, we'll wrap this up. But guys, I mean, this show is about promoting Punch Bunch 13. Now you know a little bit about the man that brings that show to you. A lot of people know him. A lot of people know. I've known him for the best part of 20 years. I've never had an issue with him. And I met him running around a Jaguar fighting 4 people. Somebody said to me, Marcel, there's somebody fighting in your car park. So I walked down there and I went, all right. And he's, all right, whilst he's fighting somebody. And I went, did you land? Because there's 3 people you're fighting. He's like, yeah, I'll be done in a minute. And that's how we met, really,
Oh,
innit?
yeah.
I mean, pretty much as it
I
happened.
think, oh, you're a good turn. I think you stopped to get hit that night, yeah.
And yeah, probably did. I probably should go through the club, get out the back somewhere and go. But now there's a little bit about the man that brings these shows. I hope to see a lot of you there. I will be at the show. They are great shows if you like boxing, even if you like a proper tear-up where you just want to see these lads go at it.
I'd like to, with a bit about Steve Collins.
Yeah.
I say you will also get an opportunity to meet Steve Collins and Joe Egan. They're fantastic people. I say Steve was the most successful.
I can second that. Definitely, I've never met Steve personally.
If you're a
but
boxing
Joe
fan.
will sit and talk to you. And
Yeah, and Steve.
Great.
They're both out of Dublin.
So-
They both grew up together.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the most successful professional boxer of modern times with Steve Collins. You know, he beat Eubank, he beat Ben, who are also 2 more heroes. And he's going to have his WBO middleweight and super middleweight belts there, so you can get your photo with him. Same with Joe. And we've got a local hero, Ryan Garner. Do you know Ryan?
I know Ryan. If
Ryan the Piranha Garner.
Yeah.
Great kid. I mean, I'm not sure, but I think he's probably the most successful professional boxer to ever come out of Southampton.
Yeah.
He's a WBC international champion. I think he's on his way to becoming a world champion, and he's going to be there with Steve Collins and Joe Egan as a guest of honour, and he'll be there for meet and greets as well.
Yeah,
A future world champion in the making there, I think.
There you go. So for you guys that want to come, you can watch the show. You can see the fights. It'll be a good day. There's going to be one hell of an after party afterwards as well. That's at where was it again?
That's going to be at Papillon.
Papillon.
So we've got a lot
That's
going
one
on
of
there.
Piers' venues, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Huge iconic building. It's an old church.
Yeah.
Been turned into a nightclub, but we've got 600 capacity, so it's a big after party. We've got
Great DJs. You've got Sarah Nash, Wardy.
Sarah Nash, Wardy,
Yeah.
got Ronnie Spiteri headlining.
Yeah, all friends of mine.
Good
Great
people.
DJs.
We've got a very attractive fire breather, and girls walking around with stilts and jugglers. It's going to be a bit crazy.
So to summarise, guys, on that day, it's going to be a fantastic show. Going to be a lot of blood and guts. Going to be a lot of atmosphere, and one hell of an after party afterwards. And hopefully you'll enjoy listening to what we've just spoke about. Like I've said, you know a little bit about the man who's bringing you these shows, and the philosophical side of the man, I should say. And hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Listen, we will be back next week with Nation Talks. Obviously, we will be back on the security side of it. We will be talking about festivals and events. I have a couple of promoters and organisers, and we're going to talk about festivals and why they're dropping off all over the place. I mean, I myself this year have lost 6, and I think I'm going to lose another 2.
Why is that?
And they're just not happening.
Really?
They just, quite frankly, cannot sell the tickets.
A bit like the big clubs.
They cannot fill big clubs. They can't sell enough
It's a
tickets.
completely different vibe
So
out there.
we're going to wrap that up, guys. really give us some feedback on the show. Like I said, this is not a security one, but this is about Punch Bunch 13 and what a great sort of show it can be. It is one of the biggest unlicensed boxing shows on the South Coast, and possibly, arguably, going to be one of the biggest shows in the UK.
Will be the biggest.
And from me, I'd like to say good night. God bless. Dan, say good night.
Not
And
lads, boys and girls.
we'll hopefully see you at Punch Bunch 13. See you later, guys.